Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 573 based on novel. So let's start. The moment Wang Lin stepped on the stairs to the 6th floor, esteemed Green Bull, who had left to refine a furnace of pills, suddenly opened his eyes. The first 5 floors don't contain the spells he wants. The 6th floor requires the willpower of a void turbulent cultivator. This Wang Lin hasn't reached the void turbulent stage, but his body has a lot of Seacrest. Perhaps he can enter the 6th floor. However, the 6th floor is his limit. As for the 7th and 8th floors, once someone enters, an illusion will appear over the Great Soul Sect. No more than 5 people in the Great Soul Sect can enter them. As for the 9th floor, no one but me can enter. The first ancestor divinated that Wang Lin would need 300 years to enter the 9th floor. Esteemed Green Bull faintly smiled and closed his eyes. Wang Lin stood motionless on the stairs going to the 6th floor from the 5th floor. After a long time, his eyes shined brightly and he let out a deep breath. What a powerful illusion! At that moment, he encountered countless illusions. That short, half an incense stick of time felt like hundreds of years to him. Now that he had become sober, his eyes lit up and his left foot walked up a step. His mind rumbled, but his expression didn't change. His left foot fell and his right foot rose up. He walked up 7 steps in a row. Every step caused his mind to rumble, and a powerful pressure descended on him, trying to knock him off the stairs. A mere restriction can't stop me. Wang Lin's ancient devil and demon stars in his eyes appeared and rotated. Popping sounds echoed in his body and he used his powerful body to resist the pressure to climb up 5 more steps. At this moment, he was less than 8 steps from the entrance to the 6th floor. Once he got up there, he would be on the 6th floor. I have battled void turbulent cultivators, and this restriction only imitates the pressure of a void turbulent cultivator. I, Wang Lin, was born in the cave world and stepped into the immortal astral continent. I have an avatar board of the same origin as the ancient and celestial ancestors. This restriction is not worth worrying about. A shocking willpower erupted from Wang Lin as he calmly walked up the stairs. There was no pause as he walked toward the 6th step. Wang Lin walked up 7 steps, but there was 1 more step to go. Just as Wang Lin's foot was about to land on the last step, his vision blurred. When his vision cleared, he was next to the edge of a cliff. Once his foot landed, he would fall into the abyss below. Deep inside the abyss, miserable howls echoed. Smoke-like ghosts charged out toward Wang Lin. Looking at the ghosts charging from the bottom of the abyss, Wang Lin pondered. He was in no rush as he observed the strangeness of his surroundings. This restriction seemed simple. It felt like one only needed a powerful enough will to ignore the abyss and the ghosts to step down to pass. However, Wang Lin felt like something was wrong. At this moment, the ghosts from the abyss had charged out more than halfway. They were less than 1,000 feet from Wang Lin, less than 100 feet. This illusion restriction is indeed clever. Wang Lin revealed a cold smile and walked forward without changing his direction. Just as his step was about to land, the ghosts in the abyss became excited as if they were waiting for this. But the moment Wang Lin's step landed, ripples echoed and he disappeared. The moment he disappeared, the illusion collapsed. Wang Lin stepped out from the stairs to the 6th floor. He didn't step on the last step but directly entered the 6th floor. The moment his foot landed, his mind rumbled and everything calmed down. At this moment, in the cave in the green heavenly mountain, esteemed Green Bull was not shocked at all and nodded slightly. It is indeed worthy of someone who was divinated by the old ancestor to come. Without any warning, he is about to successfully enter the 6th floor the first time. This is very rare. You actually came up. In the 6th floor, Yanlu's eyes narrowed as she looked at Wang Lin. Since you came, why can't I come? Wang Lin calmly walked forward. If he had stepped on the last step, all his efforts would have been wasted. The trick with the last step was that it couldn't be stepped on, only leaped over. Throughout the ages, it was unknown how many people had failed on this step to enter the 6th floor. Once one failed a test in the Soul Scripture Pavilion, they would have to leave and wait for their next opportunity to try again. HMPH, someone must have told you the mystery of the stairs to the 6th floor ahead of time. Yang Luo said calmly, thinking she had guessed the answer. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he looked at Yang Lu, but he didn't speak. His divine sense spread out and observed the 6th floor. There were a lot less soul bodies here compared to the 5th floor, only about 60. However, each soul body gave off an extremely powerful aura. It was obvious they each contained an extremely powerful spell only void tribulent cultivators could possess. Wang Lin's actions made Yang Lu think he had silently agreed with her statement. She closed her eyes and no longer paid attention to Wang Lin. After all, they weren't allowed to fight in the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Although she had been an elder of the sect for many years, she wouldn't dare to break the rules here. The Soul Scripture Pavilion was the place to choose a spell. It was the holy land of the Great Soul Sect. There were many unimaginable secrets here. Yang Lu understood this well. Wang Lin's divine sense scanned past more than 60 soul bodies. Here, he found the multi-layered illusion spell and the soul fantasy origin spell Yang Lu had used. In particular, the soul body above Yang Lu was the soul fantasy origin spell he was looking for. The entire 6th floor was very quiet and Wang Lin pondered a bit before walking forward. His feet landed on the 6th floor, and because the 6th floor had wooden floors, his steps created creaking sounds as he walked. The sounds were rather harsh, and they caused Yang Lu to open her eyes and reveal a look of disgust. Wang Lin ignored Yang Lu completely and arrived next to the soul body of the multi-layered illusion spell. He carefully looked at it but then slowly frowned. Yang Lu noticed Wang Lin's expression and sneered. She naturally knew why Wang Lin was frowning. When she first entered here and saw the famous Dao spells of the Great Soul Sect, she also frowned. Only the first method of the multi-layered illusion spell is here. If you have the strength, you can go to the 7th floor for the next 2. If you have the ability to go up to the 8th or 9th floors, the complete ancient soul body for the multi-layered illusion spell is on the 9th floor. Oh. Wang Lin looked at Yang Lu and his gaze swept past the soul body above her. This soul fantasy origin spell is also not complete. Could it also be on the 7th floor and above? Of course. The Great Soul Sect cares about strength. If you have the strength, you can naturally get the complete spell. The entrance to the 7th floor is there. Do you dare to try? Yang Lu sneered and pointed not far away. There was a set of ancient stairs there that led to the 7th floor. The Soul Scripture Pavilion was very strange. There was no restriction keeping dust away, so the stairs were covered in dust to show that no one had gone up there in a long time. Only when one moved closer could they see that there were footprints on the stairs. But the footprints were so light that they were covered by a new layer of dust. Can you go up? Yang Lu looked at Wang Lin with a smile of contempt. Wang Lin didn't speak. He looked at the stairs to the 7th floor and frowned. One would likely need the willpower of a mid-stage void tribulent cultivator to reach the 7th floor. It would be very difficult for Wang Lin. There was no need to mention the 8th floor or the final 9th floor. If you don't have the ability to go up, then don't be picky. Just the spells here are enough for your whole life. Yang Lu concluded that Wang Lin couldn't go up. Although her words weren't too harsh, the hidden meaning was filled with disdain. Hearing Yang Lu's words, Wang Lin suddenly smiled. He turned to look at Yang Lu. Although this beautiful woman's face was filled with resentment, not only did her beauty not fade, but it made her even more charming. However, these physical appearances were no different than white bones to Wang Lin. Wang Lin looked at Yang Lu and slowly said, "Why don't we make a bet? If I can go up to the 7th floor, what are you willing to bet?" His words echoed in the 6th floor and landed in Yang Lu's ears. Her eyes narrowed as she looked at the stairs going to the 7th floor and began to ponder. How much of this Wang Lin's words are true? HMPTH, only a handful of people can go to the 7th floor. I tried once and only made it to the 7th step. Even if his cultivation is mysterious, I have fought him twice. If I can't go up there, then he won't be able to either. He is saying this to find a way to back down. If I don't agree, Then he can avoid this topic and I can't mock him anymore. If you can enter the 7th floor, I'll bet this. After Yang Lu finished thinking, her eyes lit up, and with a wave of her right hand, a blue umbrella appeared before her. Yang Lu stared at Wang Lin and her words became cold. What about you? If you can't enter the 7th floor, what will you bet? There was a flash of blood light. Wang Lin raised his right hand and the blood sword landed on the ground. This sword should be enough. Yang Lu's gaze swept by the blood sword. She knew that the blood sword was a treasure of the ancient Dao clan. It was worthy of being an equal bet to her blue umbrella. Good. I'll make a bet with you. I want to see how you will be knocked back by the restrictions of the 7th floor. Yang Lu's pupils suddenly shrank. She suddenly couldn't see through Wang Lin. For him to take out this sword. Could he be completely certain that he can enter the 7th floor? Wang Lin's expression was calm and he no longer looked at Yang Lu. He walked toward the stairs to the 7th floor, but his pace was not fast or slow. Each step caused a ripple and seemed to be stepping on Yang Lu's heart. She stopped comprehending the soul body above her and stared at Wang Lin, feeling a bit nervous. She vaguely felt some regret and shouldn't have tried to stimulate Wang Lin. That blue umbrella was a powerful treasure of hers, and its defensive power was very strong. HMPH, this person is very cunning, and a liar. I fear after he loses, he will find some way to withdraw from the bet. Yang Lu looked at Wang Lin as he walked toward the ancient stairs. Wang Lin looked at the stairs. There was a total of 19 steps to the 7th floor. It looked like one could easily get up, but once he got close, the dangerous aura warned him. If his will was lacking, then stepping on the stairs was the same as surviving the raging sea on a lonely boat. What, do you not dare? When Yang Lu saw Wang Lin stop before the stairs, she relaxed a bit. She was really afraid he would calmly walk up the stairs without any problem even though it was almost impossible. Wang Lin suddenly turned around and meaningfully looked at Yang Lu. Watch carefully. After Wang Lin spoke, his eyes shined and his foot landed on the first step. When his foot landed, the sky above the Great Soul Sect suddenly changed. A giant staircase hundreds of kilometers wide appeared in the sky over the Great Soul Sect. The bright staircase lit up the dark sky over the Great Soul Sect. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the dark night, awakening countless Great Soul Sect cultivators from their cultivation. Their divine senses spread out or they simply flew out from their peaks to see the giant stairs in the sky. Someone is trying to enter the 7th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. That head of white hair. From his appearance, isn't that the new elder, Wang? Although his cultivation is not bad, it will be very difficult to enter the 7th floor. Ha ha, there is something lively to see. It has been almost 100 years since someone has tried to enter the 7th floor. Aside from those old fellows, almost no one would dare to enter the 7th floor. The restrictions inside the Soul Scripture Pavilion are powerful. Unless one successfully enters the 7th floor once, that staircase will keep appearing in the sky for everyone to see his attempts to enter the 7th floor. I think this Elder Wang will without a doubt fail. There was a total of 19 steps, and on the first step stood a huge figure. This figure had a head of white hair. It was Wang Lin. This was the illusion the Soul Scripture Pavilion would create when someone wanted to enter the 7th floor. It was something that happened since ancient times. Anyone who wished to go up to the 7th floor would be watched by all. It was a sense of glory but also a great pressure. If one was not qualified, then everyone would see that person's performance, including their sorry state when they got knocked back. It was precisely because of this that not many people had tried to enter the 7th floor. In the Great Soul Sect, several rays of light flew out from their respective peaks. This kind of lively matter was not that rare but not easy to see. Since they had encountered it, they were very interested. However, very few people thought Wang Lin would succeed, most were hoping to see him in a sorry state. Even esteemed Green Bull frowned. He looked up. His gaze penetrated the mountain and saw the illusion in the sky. He is a bit reckless. With this cultivation level, it is impossible to enter the 7th floor. Esteemed Green Bull let out a sigh and shook his head. This is a good way to restrain his spirit a bit. Don't think my great soul sect is so simple. At the same time, on 3 to 5 peaks owned by old monsters that were normally always in closed-door cultivation, the owners opened their eyes and looked over. Interesting. It is already difficult to enter the 6th floor with his cultivation level, yet he still wants to enter the 7th floor. This child is overestimating himself. In the illusion in the sky, Wang Lin's right foot landed on the first step of the stairs. His eyes were closed and he remained motionless. However, shortly after, he suddenly opened his eyes and stared at the end of the stairs. He raised his foot and began walking forward. With every step, a thunderous rumble echoed inside the Great Soul Sect. In a flash, Wang Lin climbed 5 steps. In the 6th floor, Yanlu stared at Wang Lin. After seeing him climb 5 steps, her expression changed but soon returned to normal. HMPH, so what if he can walk up 5 steps? He can't get on the 7th step. Yanlu clenched her fist and completely forgot to comprehend the soul body above her. Her focus was locked on Wang Lin. Wang Lin remained calm, but his heart was raging like a storm. After taking the 5th step, it was as if he was immersed in an endless abyss. When his foot landed, a powerful divine sense entered his body and bombarded his mind. Back down. Back down. Back down. Although that voice had only said 2 words, they echoed endlessly in Wang Lin's mind. It was as if hundreds of thousands of people were roaring at him. The voice made Wang Lin feel like this body was going to be torn apart. It was as if he would be erased from this world if he didn't retreat. Wang Lin's foot stopped on the 5th step with this voice. He looked up at the stairs with eyes were filled with determination. Essence true body, gather. Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and pointed. A part of the Great Soul Sect rumbled and a sea of fire erupted from Fire Vein Mountain. The sea of fire covered the sky and a giant face appeared. This face was Wang Lin's essence true body. In a flash, this monstrous fire charged toward the illusionary staircase and Wang Lin, entering Wang Lin's body. At the same time, in the Soul Scripture Pavilion, on the stairs leading to the 7th floor, Wang Lin was covered in a sea of fire and his essence true body appeared. The moment his essence true body appeared, his eyes shined brightly. He obtained new strength as he raised his foot and stepped forward once more. The 6th step, 7th step, 8th step. Wang Lin didn't pause, he rushed to the 13th step in a flash. The moment Wang Lin's foot landed, Yanlu, who was observing him, suddenly stood up. Her beautiful face was filled with disbelief and her body trembled. She didn't realize that her right hand was white from clenching. Impossible. At the same time, the expressions of everyone in the Great Soul Sect that saw Wang Lin take several steps and land on the 13th step changed greatly. After one pause at the 5th step, he went directly to the 13th step. This person has such a powerful will. That's an essence true body. It's an essence true body. This Elder Wang is simply amazing. Just 6 more steps and he can center the 7th floor. Wang Lin's essence true body was not something everyone in the Great Soul Sect knew about. The shock he brought was indescribable. The entire Great Soul Sect was in an uproar. Even some of the old monsters that were in closed-door cultivation were moved. 13 steps, in the green heavenly peak, esteemed Green Bull's eyes became serious. However, he still sat there and didn't go outside. I underestimated him. His essence true body is very close to becoming a true celestial. Essence true body, essence true celestial. There's a 1-word difference, but the difference is a gully. However, 13 steps is about his limit. At most, he can take 3 more steps. Esteemed Green Bull's cultivation was unfathomable. His intuition was very good and he was rarely wrong. Inside the Soul Scripture Pavilion, Wang Lin stood on the 13th step going up to the 7th floor. He was able to get here thanks to the power of his essence true body, but right now, that voice inside his mind had increased several-fold. Back down. The roar echoed in his mind and continued to attack his origin soul. Although he looked calm, his vision had become blurry. This confusion was seen by Yanlu, the countless cultivators of the Great Soul Sect, and those old monsters that were normally in closed-door cultivation. He is about to fail. Yang Lu revealed a joyous smile. It looks like he still isn't able to enter the 7th floor. Most of the cultivators in the Great Soul sect silently shook their heads. However, just at this moment, the confusion in Wang Lin's eyes suddenly disappeared and was replaced with monstrous light. Yang Lu, you're celebrating too early. I'll take that umbrella of yours. After Wang Lin spoke, his foot landed on the 14th step. At this moment, the essence true body behind him turned into a sea of fire and rushed into his body. Wang Lin became one with his essence true body and stepped forward. This was the 15th step. The world rumbled and the countless cultivators in the Great Soul sect observed. When they saw Wang Lin take the 15th step, he took another. This was the 16th step. Just 3 more. My will won't yield even to the heavens, why should I back down? Wang Lin's life and death essence erupted from his body. Ethereal essences weren't affected by the immortal astral continent. The moment it erupted, Wang Lin stepped onto the 17th step. My will has pierced the cave world and the immortal astral continent. I'm the first person to leave the cave world. Even if this is the will of a mid-stage void turbulent cultivator, what qualifications do you have to force me to back down? Wang Lin's true and false essence erupted before him. His body was like an illusion, and as he rapidly changed, he landed on the 18th step. This scene was seen by all the disciples of the Great Soul sect, and it shook their hearts. When Yang Lu saw this, her face instantly turned pale. Even the old monsters in the Great Soul sect that were often in closed-door cultivation walked out and watched with their own eyes. My will can't be destroyed by divine retribution. I took back my own destiny from divine retribution. I came to the immortal astral continent not to serve but to take back my own destiny. I came to the immortal astral continent not to obey but to walk above the heavens. Wang Lin's eyes shined as his karma essence erupted. His foot landed on the 19th step and he entered the 7th floor. When his foot landed, the illusion above the Great Soul sect shined brightly. All the disciples of the Great Soul sect looked up at the illusion with respect. The strong will be respected, no matter where they are. Wang Lin had used his own power to tell everyone in the Great Soul sect he could enter the 7th floor. All those who didn't have a good outlook on him trembled in their hearts and couldn't say a word for a long time. From now on, the 7th floor is no longer a place only 5 people beside the ancestor can enter. There is now one more. As everyone remained silent, a sigh came from far away. At the same time, in the green heavenly peak, esteemed Green Bull pondered. He was still sitting there and hadn't looked up, but his gaze was serious. He actually entered the 7th floor. The ancestor said that this person would enter the 7th floor in 3 years, the 8th floor in 30 years, and the 9th floor in 300 years to bring the greatest fortune to my Great Soul sect. Now, it has changed. When Wang Lin stepped into the 7th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion, he turned around to look at the pale Yang Lu. He waved his sleeve and the blood sword and blue umbrella flew toward him. Yang Lu, I'll take the umbrella. Yang Lu subconsciously raised her hand to grab the umbrella, but her pride didn't allow her. With that moment of hesitation, the umbrella and the blood sword arrived next to Wang Lin. Wang Lin put away the blood sword and grabbed the blue umbrella. Just as he was about to erase Yang Lu's divine sense to make it his own, her cold voice echoed from the 6th floor. Wang Lin, are you still willing to bet? Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He sneered and stopped his motion of erasing the divine sense. He held it in his hand and spoke slowly. What do you want to bet? I bet you can't enter the 8th floor. Do you dare to take the bet? Yang Lu moved to the bottom of the staircase but didn't dare to step on it. She looked up at Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't immediately speak but pondered. If you lose, you only need to return the treasure back to me. But if you win, Before Yang Lu finished speaking, Wang Lin interrupted her. Why should I continue betting with you? Wang Lin's words were calm as he waved his sleeve and walked into the 7th floor, where there was less than 30 soul bodies. Wang Lin. If you win, I'll give this treasure to you. Yang Lu waved her hand and a small, purple gourd appeared. The moment the gourd appeared, soul fluctuations came from it. This a treasure from the ninth ancestor, Luo Yunhai, and I inadvertently found it. He gathered 1 billion Dao souls within and now it's broken, but it still has 30 million Dao souls inside. Although it can only be used once, it can launch an attack equal to a peak mid-stage void turbulent cultivators. This item is the reason I can summon the ninth ancestor with the soul fantasy origin. With this, you can also summon the ninth ancestor with the soul fantasy origin. As long as you can enter the 8th floor, you can take this. Are you willing to bet? Yang Lu's voice was sharp as it echoed through the soul scripture pavilion. Wang Lin's footsteps stopped and he felt the soul fluctuations from the 6th floor. He was currently lacking treasures. If he wanted a foothold on the immortal astral continent, aside from his own strength, treasures were key. If I can get it, then I'll have a killer ace that can threaten mid-stage void turbulent cultivators, Wang Lin pondered as his gaze swept the stairs heading toward the 8th floor. The dust on the stairs was even thicker. It was obvious it had been a long time since someone stepped onto them. Wang Lin's divine sense had swept the soul bodies on the 7th floor. The more complete soul fantasy origin and the multi-layered illusion were present. However, the ones on the 8th floor would be more complete. If I don't use the power of my avatar in the void, it will be very difficult to get up to the 8th floor. Wang Lin frowned and began measuring the gains and losses as he slowly sensed his avatar in the void. Yang Lu was on the 6th floor, waiting for Wang Lin's reply. She was slightly anxious. She was worried that Wang Lin wouldn't agree, or that once Wang Lin agreed, he would really have a method to get up to the 8th floor. This shouldn't be possible. That umbrella has great use for me. I'm not willing to let him take it so easily. The 8th floor contains the will of late-stage void turbulent. Without Wang Lin's cultivation level, he must have been injured while reaching the 7th floor. He could never reach the 8th floor. Just as Yang Lu was pondering anxiously about this, Wang Lin's words echoed from the 7th floor. Since you want to bet, then let's bet. Wang Lin's words were decisive. That gourd filled with 30 million Dao souls was something he had to obtain. When he checked on his avatar, he found that its growth had been faster than he expected, so even if it sent out some power, it wouldn't affect the avatar too much. After considering all of this, Wang Lin made up his mind. When Yang Lu heard Wang Lin's words, she began to feel regret. She didn't know why, but the decisiveness in Wang Lin's words alarmed her. There was hesitation in Yang Lu's eyes. What, do you not dare? If you don't dare, then forget it. Don't blame me for wiping away the divine sense on this blue umbrella. Wang Lin smiled and held the blue umbrella in his right hand. He raised his left hand to erase the divine sense left on it. Okay, I'll bet with you. I don't believe you can get onto the 8th floor. Yang Lu clenched her teeth. Wang Lin laughed and charged toward the stars toward the 8th floor. Wang Lin's mind and the avatar in the void formed a connection. This connection ignored all the restrictions in the Great Soul Sect and even the countless restrictions in the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Not even the laws of the immortal astral continent could stop the power surging toward him. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and with 7 steps, he arrived at the stairs to the 8th floor. With 1 step, he walked forward. Yang Lu, watch carefully. The moment Wang Lin's foot landed on the staircase, the many cultivators outside were ready to disperse. But their hearts trembled and they all looked up. Even the expressions of the old monsters changed. The illusion had disappeared from the sky of the Great Soul Sect, but at this moment an even larger and brighter staircase suddenly appeared. The set of stairs lead to the 8th floor of the Soul Scripture Pavilion. Wang Lin's figure appeared on the stairs once more. That head of white hair shocked everyone's minds. He actually wants to head to the 8th floor. This is something that is rarely seen, even in hundreds of years. I will actually get to see someone trying to break through the 7th and 8th floors at once. An uproar echoed as the elders in closed-door cultivator all looked over with serious expressions. In the green heavenly peak, esteemed Green Bull could no longer maintain his calm. He got up and his expression constantly changed. He could no longer hide the shock in his heart. He is going to the 8th floor. To head into the 7th floor 3 years early is one thing, but to enter the 8th floor 30 years early is, the old ancestor didn't know if this was good or bad for the Great Soul sect. However, deviating off the divination of the ancient ancestor caused him to feel uneasiness. In the 6th floor, Yanlu couldn't enter the 7th floor or see the changes up there. Even her divine sense couldn't enter, but with her cultivation level, she had her own methods. In the new peak Yanlu had been given, one of her disciples was looking at the sky in shock. She trembled and her eyes suddenly lost focus and was replaced with killing intent. At that moment, the female disciple's soul was suppressed and the divine sense Yanlu had left on the peak took over, making her Yanlu's eyes. This video will end here.